to strap in and get ready.
The leaders in NRL Supercoach are incoming. Bringing you the ultimate insight to help you win your leagues and climb up the rankings.
You're now listening to the Insight NRL Show with your hosts, Brain, Mattrix, and Whisperer.
Yes, welcome back to the Insight NRL Show. It's Team List Tuesday for round 7. The show is brought to you by the Standard Squeeze and Ryan from Astute News said, I'm the SC Brain, SC Whisperer, SC Mattrix are with me in the studio as always to talk through team lists, trade captains, or trades, trade captains, trade targets, captains, and tons more. Boys, Josh, how you going, mate? You've recovered after your Sunday?
Yeah. Big weekend, big Monday, just shut off social media for the day, which was nice. And then got back into it today with another creator, so can never escape the fun. But apart from that, I'm good, man. My team is in much better shape this week than what it was last week. I actually have some more colors on my bench that's not just a red circle. So we've got a couple of greens and a couple of oranges in there. So we're much improved from last week.
Plenty of positives to take, and it feels like we're kind of we're very lucky with the way TLT fell, Mattrix. There's a few options this week, which I guess is the first time we can say that this year.
Yeah, really excited about TLT this week. I was waiting on a few things. There's a few little curly ones that a few of us have to take care of, but we'll talk about that throughout the show.
Yeah, plenty to talk about. Guys, make sure you hit subscribe and like. We would appreciate that if you like the content and you haven't subscribed yet. And also, obviously, if you're listening to us on audio, hit that follow button and leave us a 5-star review. And also, of course, we're live, so drop your questions below if you have any questions you'd like us to answer. We'll do that throughout the show. Obviously, we can't answer every single one of them. Otherwise, we'll be here for 4 hours. But we'll answer the best ones, so make them good. Now, you'll see the scores from last week on the screen. You'll see our ranks on the screen as well. Mattrix with a little trophy next to his name again for the 7th week in a row, it feels like. I'm sick of repeating myself. Josh, one of us needs to knock him off this week.
I keep saying, instead of having our NRL scores, we just need to have our best Supercoach ranks that we're playing at the moment plastered, because I'd be much more happy with that. But no, this will be the week. Nelson asked for Solomon back, so Harry Grant is my not my captain. Well, that's a huge shout. Harry Grant is my choice of player to get me back up the ranks.
Yeah, I like it. Yeah, I'm thinking exactly the same thing. That's one of many things, hopefully positives that we can take out of the show. Mattrix 1266. We've got to mention it. Pretty solid score. Takes out the week again, but climbing up into nearly the top 2K.
Yeah, I would have been there if not for Hammer. But Hammer's been a big play for me, I suppose, throughout the year. But Luke Ponga, Captain AE and Salmon. Total team value went up $1 million, and
terrible.
Happy with the way things are going.
AE of 50, disaster. Of 50.
Yeah, that's a cop, didn't you? That's tragedy. I was going to say you mentioned you would have been in the top 2K if it wasn't for Hammer. Yeah, a couple of weeks ago, if it wasn't for Liam Henry getting -1 and Dom Young getting -15, I'd be in the top 20K, I think. So, coulda, woulda, shoulda. Guys, join the Unlimited League if you haven't done that yet. The code is 777-141. We're cutting that one off around mid-season or just before the Origin period starts in round. So after round 12, we're going to close that one off. So make sure to get in. We'll talk a little bit later about who took out the squeeze of the week as well. So there were some big scores. It might have had a 14 at the start of it. We'll mention that later, but massive. But one thing we'll mention right now is the Insight Supercoach World Cup. Now, for those of you that are watching maybe for the first time or you haven't heard about what the World Cup is, basically it's a Supercoach community marathon over a 12-month period where we're combining all four Supercoach sports, I should say, in the one competition based on rank. So the best combined rank across the 4 sports takes out the cash and gets to claim the mantle of the best Supercoach player in the world. So all you need to do is jump in the Discord. There's a channel with all of the info in there, and it's $20 to sign up now. And basically you pay to enter. And over the next 11 months, we'll see who's the best Supercoacher is in the world. And I thought I had a good week, but it turns out I went down in both World Cup competitions, which is fucking bizarre. So, there's some big scores happening in the World Cup at the moment. And Josh, we've got to mention it, don't we? You leading the AFL still?
Yeah, I've extended my lead, but somehow lost even further rank, which is baffling. I'm ranked in the top like 0.1% of AFL, but I think I'm coming like 4th or 5th last in the World Cup. So it just shows you that you need to have a well balanced approach to Supercoach and not just dominate one sport that you have no idea what you're doing about.
That's right. BBL and NBL is going to be a challenge for some people, especially the guys that haven't played it much. And Mattrix is there feeling pretty good about himself and being what we call an NBL expert. What did you finish in NBL last year?
Oh, about 390, I think.
Yeah, nice.
Out of 400 players.
Hey, there's
How many play NBL?
26,000. No, 26,000 in NBL.
That's pretty good. That's more than what I would have thought.
Yeah, and then I think we've got about 60,000 play BBL. So you'll be in the hunt at the back end of the season, and obviously we have the show for all four. So, quick shout out to the leaders of the Supercoach World Cup. You got Brent in first, still at 2.08%. So you can see he's 1,493rd in NRL and 5,485th in AFL. So very even spread across the board for Brent. We've got Kane in second, very close behind, 4,000 and 3,500, and then we've got Jack, Luke, and Jake trailing in third, fourth, and fifth. So we've seen a bit of a shake-up there in the leaderboard a number of times over the first 5 weeks. So I'm sure we'll continue to see that. But we're not here to talk about the World Cup. We're not here to talk about the AFL as much as Josh would love to. We're here to talk about the NRL. So let's get into the injuries for the week. Do you want to talk about Satili, Josh? Or is it still too raw?
Oh, mate. Just what's going on? I needed anything. I knew he was on the bench, but I needed something. 90 seconds in, Cat 1 HIA out for the 11-day stand-down period, which is, not fun. Alec McDonald from Storm obviously passed his HIA, and Jesse Bromwich passed his as well. Not huge Supercoach relevance out of those ones. But Satili, hey, at least he won't lose cash this week. That's the most important thing I'm looking at.
Yes. You got to find the silver lining when you can find it. Mattrix, the next couple. I mean, there's a few more HIAs this week, isn't there? Like Lockie Croker had one at the end of the game, so we don't know whether he passed or not. But he's been named, but there was also a shoulder injury for him. Cam Murray, Cam Murray failed his, but he's on the bye, luckily. Yep. So he'll do his 11-day standard protocol, but he'll be back. Jacob Host, he passed. Jai Gray, he passed. Jack Bird failed his on Sunday afternoon, so he'll miss this week. And then we've got Zach Hosking. He passed his, but he's injured and looking like he's going to be out for anywhere from 4 weeks to a season, depending on surgery.
I think Jack Bird was an instant Cat 1, and the Dragons were trying to challenge that because Bird thought he was fine, but you can't challenge the independent doctor, which was really interesting, because he was immediately ruled out. Like there was no testing done. Like the doctor ruled him out straight away, and the Dragons were not happy.
It was kind of innocuous too, wasn't it? Like I was at the game and I didn't really notice too much of what happened. I know it's harder to pick up at the game, but it seems a few people were surprised on that one. But they're the HIAs. But let's get into the Kalen Ponga hip pointer news, because I know Physio did a really big write-up in his Patreon. But it seems like he's a hold for now. He's been named, obviously, which is fantastic for owners, Mattrix. We're definitely very happy that he's been named. But is there, I guess, like any risk of decreased performance? How do we feel like he's going to manage this?
Yeah, he is always a vice captain option every time I own him. And this week, probably just a few question marks. I believe the hit pointer is pain management at this point when they come in. So look, maybe it could be decreased performance. I'm lucky enough to have Turbo there as well with a really good matchup. So it just sort of helped make my decision, I suppose. I am not chucking an armband on Ponga this week, which has not been the case at any stage throughout this year, I think.
I think there's also some factors to take into consideration with who your other fullback is and who they're playing too. I think that probably kicks in this week. But Tui Kamikamika, he misses probably 4 to 6 weeks with a bit of a calf issue there, and it's not the first calf issue that he's had. So I'm sure they'll probably be watching him pretty closely with his rehab. But Hammer, I don't want to play on the name too much, but very 4 to 6 weeks for him. It's a grade 2 hamstring, which again complicates things a little bit further and makes it a little bit more of a lengthy recovery. We know that hamstrings are a high recurrence rate, Josh, isn't it? So that you've always got to watch them a little bit closer when they return to play.
Yeah, on Tui. I'm in 5 draft leagues, own Tui in all of them and started him in all 5 formats. And lost most of my draft leagues this week by about 30 points. So if I played any other front forward, it would have been sweet. Amiso sucks with the 3 points as well. Fullback and center wing, obviously golden, and he was performing really well. Sucks for him, but yeah, is a sell. If you need the funds, like it's a sell next week. But you're not going to hold him for 6 weeks, but definitely getting him out of your team ASAP. Another Dolphin, Tom Flegler, named last week under that AC joint concern, was a late withdrawal and hasn't been named again this week. Another one of those sort of pain tolerance things. We've seen Payne Haas, I guess front row forwards that come to mind. Payne Haas had one last year, the year before, and scores dipped dramatically when he played through it. So Flegler being out for a couple of weeks is actually probably beneficial for owners. We've got Liam Henry coming back. We've got Sam Hughes that's been named to start. So I don't know if he's a massive priority sell. I think he had one score under 50 all year without injury. So if I had Flegler, I'd probably just be holding and putting my faith in Sam Hughes. Yeah, and with Sam Hughes being named, it makes it a little bit of an easier decision, doesn't it, rather than him coming off the bench. So big win for Sam Hughes owners. But Burbo, 3 weeks it's come out. I think initially I thought it was going to be 4 to 6, but they've come out and said 3 weeks. But this is the 4th time that he's done his left hammy in the last year and a bit, which screams red flags. If you own him, I think I'd be moving him on. Even if you think he's going to be back in 3 weeks, I don't think he's worth a hold because you've got 2 weeks to get through. Where I think the recurrence rate's 20% chance of reoccurring in your first fortnight when you're back from a hammy, and I would assume that would be a bigger risk with Burbo coming back after multiple. But Toff Sipley, he is out as well with a knee issue. Ola Kawatu had a back issue throughout the week, but he's been named, so no stress there. Jazz Tavanga, though, interesting one. Hamstring, looked like kind of like a little grade 1, and then he needed to be actually helped off the field. So I'm assuming that this one's going to be a bit of a lengthy out as well, Matty, isn't it?
Yeah, it looks like it could be a little while. I don't know. There's plenty of forwards over there in the Warriors, but I don't think that's too relevant for Supercoach. Bailey Simonson. Yep. Sorry, keep going. Bailey Simonson with his knee. He's been named as well. Nanai's out. No Sivo coming in with for Simonson.
I was so happy. Not happy, but I was like, when Simonson went down, I was like, fuck yes, I can finally play Sivo next week. And then he's not named, so just absolutely horrendous.
Nanai's not named, and he was starting to be pretty owned. I think he's got a break even of about 82. Not being named means that we should probably move him on. Murray Talagi hurt himself at training with his ankle, so he's out for 2 to 3 weeks. Ty Munro's on the bye, but that collarbone didn't look real good. Tried to play through that. And Tavita Totola with his foot is also out, but on the bye. So
it might have been my shit notes, but Nanai's in. He's named this week, but the injury wasn't disclosed. So like they came out and said, "Oh, Nanai's copped an injury," but no one said anything about what the injury was. It was super fucking flaky.
The Cowboys also named Jack Gosevsky, didn't they?
Yes.
Despite the reports today that the swap deal between the Harrison Edwards and the Broncos and Gosevsky.
I think that's happening in 2 weeks' time. I think he's going to play 2 more games for the Cowboys, then he's off to Brisbane. So,
remember that weird time during COVID when people just remember when Corey Horsford played for the Bulldogs for 8 weeks?
Yes. I don't like that C word. It was an interesting time of our lives, that's for sure. But yeah, I keep thinking Ty Munro out. Are we going to see Jacob Gagai? And he just never appears. He's just the guy that you want to turn up, and he's gone.
He's like the 4th string winger, and whenever we think we're going to get him, it just doesn't happen.
He just scored. Honestly, can I tell you one thing about Jacob Gagai? He scored a free trip to Vegas, and we'll never see him again.
And were they the first game? Was he the?
That was his first game ever. That's his only game.
Was that the first game? Hang on, I want to see if he because this would be some kind of pub trivia. Who was the first NRL scorer in Vegas? And it was Richie Kenner. Okay, if you ever need that pub trivia, I thought he may have been the first player to score over in Vegas, but no, Richie Kenner was your man.
No luck.
Richie Kenner. Yeah, Richie Kenner might get named next week.
Every chance. Yeah, we can wait a week for the Rabbitohs news, but let's move into the weekly preview. Now, obviously, before we dive deeper into the teams and the changes for the teams this weekend, we do buy, hold, sell every week, where we talk to you about our best buys, our best holds, sells, and the watch list for the week to come. So let's move into the buys to start things off.
Target acquired.
Bit of a no-brainer, boys, this one, isn't it? Kailiro, 219k, negative 76 break even, steps on the park and makes a 60k. Josh, is there a reason not to get him?
If you don't like making money and you don't like, say, 45 points, or you don't want Val Holmes for 230k, they're my only reasons. It seems like Fitzy loves him. The role seems to be there. All the troops are sort of coming back, and Talakai's playing through the middle, and the Sharks keep winning. So you're not going to change a breaking team. They take on the Cowboys this week at PointsBet. Could be another dub. Yeah, I mean, I just, what more is there to say? It's obviously no slam dunk pick like Schiller was last week, making probably double the coin, but Eero still absolutely a must have in my opinion.
Yep, every chance with the 50 makes what, 100k?
Yeah, and I mean, averaging 70, he's my hero.
You've been saving that one, haven't you? You thought about that at work at 2 o'clock this afternoon.
Mattrix shower thoughts.
That's it. All right, Gus Crichton is the second buy on the list this week, 459k with a negative 22 break even. And again, I mean, maybe there's more question marks around this one just because there's so much uncertainty around what's been happening with the Roosters forward pack. We've been saying it for weeks and weeks, and we're still yet to see a proper rotation there with Satili going down last week as well. So, the last 2 weeks he's played 80, but there have been injuries involved. So, Matty, are you buying Gus Crichton this week? Did you go early? And do you think it's a slam dunk?
No, I didn't go early. I would have been really happy if I went early. I think it's a slam dunk pick with the way that he's playing. I think he's played himself into an 80-minute role. I just honestly just think that you have to get on the Gus bus. Like this is a boring week because I think Eero and Crichton are slam dunk picks, and it's just whether you boost or not. There's no reason not to get Crichton either.
Yeah. I mean, that's my opinion. Josh, do you agree? Bench looks relatively friendly for him.
Yeah, I think the most promising thing was that Nat came off last week when Satili came on. Nat can obviously play through the middle probably a little bit better than Satili can. Play through the better more than what Gus can. But I mean, the bench is great. Zach Docker-Clay is a utility. Naf White's more of a middle. Terrell May is obviously probably one of the best middles in the comp right now. It's just Egan, but even still, he's going at a sort of a 1 ppm even without attack. So even if you get 60 minutes, it's not the end of the world. It's fine. A couple of I just saw you start this comment. I guess Freddie, we have if I can speak, we've had a big influx of sort of AFL viewers due to the World Cup, which is really nice, and thank you for joining in. I guess for any AFL fans out there, I'd probably compare Angus Crichton to similar to a Clayton Oliver, a guy that got caught up in some controversy in the off season and just didn't have a good preseason, wasn't fit, was out of favor with the coach. For anyone not familiar with the NRL, Gus was one of the first players picked 2-3 years ago, like 2020, 2021. When you open your team picker in December, he was the first one there to name your team. So it's good that he's back to relevance, and we're getting him at a discount. We were buying him for 680, 700k, and we were very happy doing so. So to get him at even 450 now is still a slam dunk, even with 60 minutes, in my opinion.
Yeah, especially this week, minus 22 break even. If he gets himself 50 points, he's going to make you a good 60k minimum, and he's going to be upwards of 500k, and it gives you options then. But I think it's pretty safe. Mattrix, you seem to have an affinity with the New Zealand Warriors players. So who's the next buy on the list?
Oh, it's Tamari Martin. And I tell you what, he is probably my second favourite 5'8" from New Zealand. But at 360k with a minus 59 break even in the dire 5'8", I know Ethan Strange is the hero we needed. But look, Tamari Martin, you couldn't go half wrong. If you've already got Crichton, he's the next best. And the best for making cash, I suppose. For those, I suppose, that aren't following it every week, Luke Metcalf is out for an extended period. Tamari Martin has come in, scored a 90 and I think a late 60s for a minus 59 break even. He's still budget priced. He is a great pick as well.
Is he boost worthy? Because he's not going to make, as much coin as the other guys. He's a minus 60 break even, so he comes on and gets a 40. He'll make us probably 100 and you'll go up to say 450. Is he boost worthy? And if you are boosting, then does he become playable? Because we have the flexibility of moving Ethan Strange down to center wing and just bringing Tamari Martin in.
In my opinion, no.
If
What do you think, Braino?
if you have one boost left, I'd probably say no.
Imagine that. You finish the season ranked like 35k, and they're like, "Fuck, where'd it go wrong?" And you're like, "Well, back in round 7, I used all my boosts, and my last one was for Tomato Mine."
Yeah. No, look, I don't hate it. If you've only used 2 boosts and you want to burn a third and you want to chase some early season cash, it could be the move to get you to that next stepping stone at 5'8". Because I mean, Munster's going to start to drop in cash. Like, imagine if, like, in 3-4 weeks' time, we could go to Murray Martin to Cam Munster.
Yeah, of course.
But you Daniel wants to know before Origin.
No, you wouldn't. It's just, I mean, as an example, might be Dylan Brown.
It could be Cody Walker of South fine form. It could be any of these premium 5'8s that are all just shit to start with. Daniel, I know we're not doing questions now, but it is sort of a relevant point in this buy, hold, and sell. Tomato Martin this week, Gus next week. I don't like, because Gus has a minus 22. He's 470k. Like, if Gus gets another, if Gus gets another 70, like, he's gonna be pushing 600, and by then you're just like, I can just get another 100k gets me, Homole or Eli Katoa, and I'm just like, at that point I'm like,
And for the most part, most of us have Galvin sitting at 5'8", and he's going to make some seriously good cash again this week. And he's a playable option most weeks, to be fair, with the style of game that he has. And then we've got Ethan Strange for the most part. Like, if you're running 2 cheap 5'8s, do you really need Tamari Martin? If you don't have that swappable player or that player in the center wing that you want to trade out and drop Strange down, I just don't think he's an absolute necessity. But again, if you went early on Iro, then you can just pull the trigger on Gus and Tamari Martin this week, and you'd be pretty stoked. So let's move on to the next one. The Bulldogs center in his 3rd game of the year, Bronson Xerri, 345k, minus 12 break even. Bit less of a slam dunk, I think, than these that we've already mentioned. But I tell you what, he's passed the eye test for me, Josh. He's looked good in the 2 games that he's started for them.
Yeah, I mean, that left is just humming. As we touch on, like, all the Dogs' assets, Adokar, Xerri, Kickout, Burton, like, they're all left-sided players. They're all absolutely killing it. I don't know. Like, it's just an awkward price for a center wing that can be so volatile. Like, at least these premium ones like Val and like Ronaldo are on like really attacking teams. It's like you're putting your faith in the Dogs. Like, if he was like 260, I think it's a different scenario, even like 270, but at like 340, it's like, I don't know, that 6 or 7 points can be different. I'm fading just purely off the fact that Euro's a better buy, and I need to upgrade, and get a Gus Crichton in, who I think could be a borderline, 2RF 6 or 7. Borderline 2RF 5 or 6. Is
Bronson Xerri going to be on the right this week if Crichton at left center?
You think so? Like, you think that's what would happen? Like, we saw that Xerri played a little bit of right in the trials as well, and it just becomes less appealing there for me as well. Like, I'd probably rather take a punt I'd rather just take Chevy Stewart a week early and just hope and pray than pay the extra for them. But if you're looking at a Bulldogs asset, I'd probably take Carraz. Like, I'd find the extra cash and get Carraz now he's back on the wing, rather than buying Xerri.
Yeah. Last one, Mattrix, is Lachlan Galvin. Still a no-brainer. I think everyone forgot about him for a week, obviously, or 2 weeks, sorry, because he had that suspension for that hip drop. But he's back, 311k, negative 43 break even. It's not too late to jump on, is it?
No, the only reason I would bring somebody in against Penrith is if they had a negative 43 break even. So, yeah, lock him in. We've all had him since the start of the season, sort of hoping that he was maybe even a utility role, and we were sort of fading 5'8", and we just got a gift from the gods. And look, honestly, the Tigers, I know you guys are Tigers fans, but the Tigers need Lachie Galvin back. Like, I don't think I've ever seen a team need a rookie, probably since Ja Morant led the Grizzlies.
Since the Tigers last year with Jareem Buller.
Yeah. It's funny, isn't it? Like we're not going to sit here and like toot our own horn about Galvin, because it feels like we were one of the only podcasts that were like saying start with him. But we didn't even expect this. We didn't expect him to start. Like, we expected him to be the 14 and get 35 minutes off the bench, and we were like, we'll take that. But obviously, the way things have played out, he is just night and day better for our team than what Bud Sullivan is, or even Latu Fanu at this point in his career. Like, I've always maintained that I think Latu Fanu is the better player. But at this point in their careers, Galvin is just so essential for us, and I can't wait to see him bulk up and probably play 13 in a couple of years' time.
Yeah, that's the exciting part. But yeah, we'll move on from all the Tigers chat and let's move into the players you shouldn't be trading this week. Bit of a controversial one to start because this guy's pretty well sold this week, but I think it's position dependent, I guess. And Jack Bostock, now he's 513k and a 54 break even. I understand the reason why people are selling him because they're probably using that cash to go down to Eero and make an upgrade elsewhere. But if you have another way to get cash, I actually think he can probably cover that break even this week. Mattrix, thoughts on Jack Bostock? You're an owner, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm going to be holding him this week as well. Look, Para do league points to wingers. Para league points everywhere, to be honest. So even though Para are playing better, look, Bostock's been scoring well. He's been going a try game, I think. Look, it's only a 54 break even. Worst case scenario, he gets 40. You're selling him for 500k instead of 513k this week. I've got bigger problems than Jack Bostock in my team.
I think also we're thinking about next week already and where we're going to find another downgrade next week because we're going to have Chevy Stewart on the bubble next week, ready to make some big cash. And if you hold Bostock for a week and let's just say, for instance, he covers his BE and holds around that price or even drops a tiny bit, scores a 40, drops back down to 505 or something. You got 505k Jack Bostock down to 204k Chevy Stewart on the bubble. That's a lot of cash you can use next week. So with all the cheapies around, I think we can probably even start thinking about a 2 or a 3 week play on how we're going to offload some of these assets that are topping out, Josh.
Yeah, I think so. Like he's also a playable option as well. Like unless you're bringing in, there's no one at the price I'd bring in that's like a better option. And unless you have 200k in the bank to go up to a Lomax or a Val or anyone like that, then it's just like, just hold. You know, he jags a try or two. He covers his break even against Para, who have leaked a lot of points both sides of the field. So for me, it's a fine hold. Yeah, be prepared to lose a little bit of money, but like no one ever expected you to get 513k out of Bostock, so you'll take the 480 that you'll probably eventually end up selling him for. But yeah, Luke Brooks for 517k, 54 break even. You boys thinking he is a hold?
Purely because I feel like if he'd be a sell if Nathan Cleary was back this week.
Yeah.
I think if you have had Luke Brooks this whole time, and I'm assuming most people got Luke Brooks when they found out Cleary was injured, so why not hold another week and then use that as the stepping stone? And I mean, unless you've held trades in your back pocket and you got 4 boosts left and you know you can pull the trigger on moves like Brooks to DCE. We just got to remember that Luke Brooks is playing the Gold Coast Titans this week. They are fucking terrible.
With Ruben Garrick back as well, because we know that Brooks is swinging both sides. And Corey Waddell is like not a bad line runner either. Like he's probably a better line runner than what Burbo is. So all these factors probably indicate towards Brooks being a hold. You've lost money on your investment too. I mean, he's lost 43k this season, which makes me happy as a Brooks anti-truther. But it's a great matchup. It's probably the best matchup you're going to get this week. So if you're backing Turbo in for a massive score, then you've probably got to back Brooks in as well.
It feels like vindication, doesn't it? That we were basically saying don't buy Luke Brooks all year. And then the first 2 games he came out looking like a stud. And everyone's telling us we're wrong, blaming us. And he's turned back into good old Luke Brooks from the Tigers.
Yeah, but if you've got him, go on. Yeah. Oh, if you've got him, this is the matchup that you want him for. Yeah, like honestly, like you do not trade him again. You haven't taken him against all these good teams just to trade him out versus the Titans. This is not the week.
Yeah, and even next week, you got Para at 4 Pines. It's like he's got the Raiders at 4 Pines and then the Dolphins. Like you could probably just hold him for another month and hopefully you get like a 65 average over that month. But like with Brooks, we weren't saying that he was like a dud, but we were saying you're paying for what he's priced at and he's averaging 54 in the season and you bought him at 55. So I think with the month of footy ahead though, I think it's a fine hold for Brooksy because Cleary's not back and buying DCE now just feels like a little bit of a move.
Yeah. Last hold for the week. Taylor May, 414k, 62 break even. Obviously, the matchup this week, and I guess maybe before we even talk about the matchup, I think the risk was that he was going to get stood down based on the news. That hasn't happened. Sorry, what'd you say? I missed that.
I said the Yam Man with the YAMs. Yeah, obviously big risk of that little driving fiasco, and we don't know what's happening with that just yet. The NRL are still investigating it, but it seems like he might just get a slap on the wrist for being a fuckwit in the passenger seat and posting on social media rather than doing anything. But up against Brett Naden this week, could kill him. Genuinely. Naden's played no centre in Reggie's. He's played a bit of fullback. So a new defensive position for him this year. So, yeah, could kill Naden.
Could be bad. Initially, I thought he was lining up against Oldham, and I thought, holy shit, someone's going to die. But
one of them will. I don't know who, but one of them will.
But Mattrix, do you agree? He's a hold at this point. Just, I mean, the price as well, right? He's only $400K.
Yeah. Oh, I don't own him. So yeah, I'm probably not the right person to ask. But how do you think I'd look with a yam tattoo along here?
Yeah, it looked good. I'll tell you what else looks pretty good. Tigers, Cowboys, Rabbitohs, Bulldogs, Warriors at Suncorp Magic Round, Sharks, and then Dragons before heading into that Origin period. So I think you can get another 6 or 7 weeks out of Yam. And yeah, I mean, I'm not selling for 414K. I'm going tailor-made to Eero just feels kind of like when we have guys like Jacob Gagai that's sitting on our team, or you may have like a Jack Bostock that you do want to sell, or you may have a Jamin Salmon or a Blaze Slungy or a Ben Travojevic, like all these guys that are probably capped out that you can sell before you'd sell Taylor May. People are jumping up and down saying he's a dud, but he's averaged 43. We paid 45 for him, and he's just had no ball. He's been starved the ball, so it's just like it's going to turn. I might be saying that in round 15 when I'm holding him and he's 270K, but I've got full confidence. He has full confidence at the board with the Maxwell Manias.
So he's going to be out. Yeah. All right. We mentioned a few guys that you could trade out for instead of Taylor May, and let's talk about the sells. Now, this one's an interesting one, and I guess there's a reason behind us saying that Blaze Talangi is a sell this week, and he's been named in the 17 jersey thanks to our friend Brad Arthur, who seems to just love super coaches. 275K, and the break-even isn't the issue, Mattrix. He's got a break-even of 6. But the issue is the fact that he's basically going to ruin your VC loop this week.
Yeah, that's why I'm looking at getting rid of him. He'll probably cover his break-even in 10 minutes, but I'm hoping Brad Arthur doesn't even get him out on the park, to be completely honest.
Where the fuck
and BA does do that. He's played center in 5'8". Maybe they're just going bad and they just bring him out. Maybe he plays hooker.
I don't know. Like a game in Darwin at fucking 8 o'clock at night is probably not the time where I want to have a fucking center or a 5'8" on my bench. That's probably the time where I'd have a 4 middle bench because it's going to be hot as shit. But I don't know. Where's he even come on? We did this last year with Jake Arthur a fair bit. He just named him and never played him. But I tell you what, if you got Hopgood or even someone like a Ryan Madison for whatever reason you've got him, these guys should be getting bulk minutes this week, which is going to be really promising. And obviously Joey Lussick is now all but locked into 80 unless we see Blaze come in and play a bit of hooker, which would just be peak Brad Arthur.
It would, and now that we've said it, that'll happen. So that's fine.
Thanks, man.
But Blaze Talangi, probably a sell. I tell you who a definite sell is, Hamiso. Now, I want you to argue against me, Mattrix, because you've said that you're holding him this week.
Yeah, look, my thing is I can trade out one center because I don't think any of the buys this week is boost worthy. I don't think Tamari Martin's boost worthy. If I'm trading out Kyle Eero, trading in Kyle Eero, I've got enough money to just go Blaze and just sit Hammer there. I'm not worried about losing money with Blaze, but you hit the nail on the head that it could ruin my VC loop. And there's some juicy matchups for some of my players this week. So I want to probably trade out Blaze if I'm looking at looping. But you guys pointed out, and if anybody's in the same position, these guys do a podcast that, despite their rank, really good. So they've told me before the game, and I wasn't before the show. I wasn't even thinking of this, that I could trade in Kyle Eero for Hammer, which nets me 500K. And if I'm looking to boost, I could reverse the trade and then just go and trade Talagi out, which, it's not uncommon to have Talagi and Hammer at this point. So that's what I recommend you all do. And these guys told me it.
What I recommend is if you are boosting this week, hold off that boost for as long as possible because you want to have that open trade. I know you're making 3 trades, but if you have one trade in the bank on the app, it allows you for way more flexibility it thinks you're boosting. So, like, if you're looking at trading out Tulagi, hold off until as long as possible until you get confirmation that, Brad Arthur hasn't done any weird shit and started him over Harper or whatnot, because you'd hate to trade him out and then see him start and then you're sort of locked out. Like, if you buy someone that doesn't allow for changes, then just making sure you've got flexibility to keep keeping Tulagi in your plans. So, just try and hold off your boost for as long as possible.
But, if that's not an issue and you've got you don't really have any other fires to put out or whatever, Hammer 695k will free up a serious amount of coin for you to use as an upgrade anywhere else in your field. So I think he's still a move on.
Pushing 800k if he played a full game against the Broncos. I'm so devastated. That cost me a lot.
Yeah, that hurts. Benny Trebojevic also going to miss minimum of 3 weeks, could be longer, but he is a sell as well. Just take the cash and run with him. 355k. Would have made, 70, 80k for the year, which isn't amazing, but still, you're going to take it and run, I think. Any other sells? I think there's...
No, just some questionable buys I'm looking at in the top 10. Like, I see Joey Manu at 5th. We're not paying 760k for a break-even of 8, are we? Like, he's back at centre. Like, what's doing? Like, Joey Manu at a buy at 760 in the centres is just not for me. Like, you can get him at 640 in a couple of weeks' time.
Yeah. Or just buy him cheaper before Origin. If you really want him for that fullback matchup when Teddy's playing Origin, you just buy him there.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, Zach Lomax at 755k feels a little bit gross to stomach, doesn't it?
At centre, yes.
How many points is St. George going to score against the Warriors? Like, seriously?
The Warriors, yeah. And then we didn't talk about the X-Man. 336k now, break even -12. This is probably the last week to jump on, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
You'll go up to probably over 400k, and it's just like, at that point, you're paying for what you get. Yeah,
and also you've got Payne Haas back any time now, so I'm sure that eats into his opportunity there somewhere. Do you agree, Matty?
That's why I don't own him. I'm just so worried about Payne Haas coming in.
You're just a Xavier Wilson hater. You are. Like, you just hate him in the preseason, hated all the Broncos fans for saying he's the GOAT, and now you're just like, nah, he's just a bum.
How many times has he told us, like, after he got ripped by all the Broncos fans, he's like, I was right the whole time, and they all ripped into me.
Yeah, I was. And I was ripped by my own kind. Like, honestly, it was like a wolf getting thrown to the other wolves. But obviously, just a big Ben Takura truther, to be honest.
Yeah. Obviously, the 80 last week really helps him. But without the tries, it's like a 55 and a 35, which is great for what you pay for now. Yeah. But if he gets another, 40, he's going to go up, another 50k. So you're going to be, in and around 370, 375. And by that stage, it's like you're getting minimal value. So this will be the last week for you to jump on Wilson if you want to. But, Liam Henry probably still has an okay role, and Sam Hughes is starting. So I don't really know where unless you're trading a 2RF and you've got some, dual flexibility.
Yeah, that's right. Exactly. Let's move on to the watch list, and I still haven't done a stinger for it. Chevy Stewart, another watch for another week, 204k, but next week is the week to jump on him. And obviously we get another look. I mean, he didn't score amazingly last week either, did he? So I want to see a little bit more from him, but he's going to be a nice downgrade target next week, Josh.
There's some love in the chat for one Tommy Talau, 312k this week with a break even of -2. Any love?
No.
Well, Saab's going to be back on the right, so he's going to be on the left wing, isn't he?
He is. He's had one score of 57, a score of 15, where he only played 67 in 66 minutes, 15, 21, 77. So he's definition of rocks or diamonds, as are most Manly outside backs. Like, they're not, unless your name's Toltol Cooler or Ruben Garrick, the wingers just don't really get stuck into the work. So I feel like Talau's a bit of a luxury trade.
Oh, for sure. I mean, surely most people don't have Kailero. And
okay, would you rather Talau? Would you rather Jerry? I'd probably take Talau.
Yeah, me too. I'm talked out of Jerry purely because he's on the right. If he was on the left, it's a different.
And center's less desirable than wing too. Like, we know that.
Yeah, for sure. And Talau could score.
Like, obviously, you don't need to do that.
But I think people are looking because of the matchup. That's what it is.
Yeah,
it's the
type. Wouldn't surprise me if he scores like 4 tries.
Yeah, it could be anything. Yeah, we've heard that a bit. Cam Munster is the next on the watch list, and I know he's obviously going to lose money this week, but 89, or he might not. 89 break even, 728k. But I kind of need to see at least one more week from him. He's coming off a 92, which was great last week, but he started pretty slowly. So I kind of want to see Cam Munster vault Mattrix before I take a plunge on a guy that expensive in a pretty shit position.
Yeah, I suppose just when I look at 5'8", I'm just thinking you can maybe just get Cam Munster and just ride it out. Like Lockie Galvin and Ethan Strange won't play Origin. Hey, you never know, to be honest. But they're probably not playing Origin. Look, they're plug and play when you've got Cam Munster. I'm just thinking that I think Cam Munster will outscore from here on. Will outscore Dillbags. So why not just lock him in? Hopefully he drops a little bit of cash. Let's just watch him this week. Next week against Souths could be a real big one.
We know that he's an anti-flat track bully as well. Like he's a guy that scores fucking 34 against the Titans, but he'll score like 116 against like Penrith.
Yeah. Two very specific numbers there as well. It's true. It is true. So, yeah, I'll watch another week of Cam Munster, I think. Another person that you'd be silly to jump on this week, maybe you'd say you'd be silly to jump on last week, would be Reece Walsh, 664K.
Why do I do this?
It's been fun winding Josh up on this pick.
I paid like $770 for the prick, and now he's going to be like 530 next week. Like, fucking hell.
That's what he was when he come across from the Warriors. Put that into perspective.
Bro, like absolutely, because he's got the 1 and then a 30 in his like rolling average, so he's just gonna burn cash.
Watch a week.
I couldn't afford Ponga, so I was like, I couldn't afford Ponga, so I was like, fuck, we'll just get Walsh in flames.
Yeah, look, he's back. When you watch the game back last week, he could have scored 100. He's in everything, but it could be 550K next week, and playing the Tigers next week as well for anybody who needs a fullback bailout or is chasing that. Up. One person we didn't mention, it's the world's longest buy, hold, sell, by the way. STR Banks asking if Schiller is still an option. Obviously with Schiller still having a negative 60 break even, I think it is. If he goes and pumps out another 60, he makes another 100K and he's 500K. It's just his price right now is what's deterring me. If I wasn't an owner, I don't think I'd buy now.
Yeah, I don't know if I could like sleep well at night knowing that I paid 400K for James Schiller. Like I'd have to have about 6 showers a day because I'd feel so fucking dirty.
Only 6,
and then you'd have to deliver some more cooking oil to Hopewadi's place. I think because there's every chance.
I don't know. Like, he'll make a fortune, but like so will Eero. I don't know. Minus 60 break even though is still fucking absurd for someone's 400K.
I just go Tamari Martin if it's between getting Schiller and Tamari Martin.
I also don't think Schiller's like the world's greatest play this week either. Like I'll play him, but like I'm not loving it. So for me, I'm just probably if you didn't get last week, I'd just let it go. Like the cash rise was the second biggest of all time. And 400K for James Schiller just feels a bit, how you going?
I can't believe I have to stipulate between when I say there's a bit of Schiller about this guy, whether it's 2022 or 2024 Schiller.
It just complicates it all now, doesn't it?
Yeah. It's not funny if you've got to explain it.
Inception, yeah.
But that's the buy, hold, and sell for round 7. But let's quickly move into the squeeze of the week. It's brought to you by the Standard Squeeze for the top scorer of the Unlimited League. And firstly, if you are sick of breaking glass bottles, you're sick of your beer going warm, you're sick of your coffees getting cold in the morning, the Standard Squeeze, they've got everything that you need to drink responsibly, but also conveniently. The Standard Squeeze products are made from food-grade quality plastic, so you can measure the perfect pour in case you need to drive, so you know how much you've drank. You can go to the store, the website, the standardsqueeze.com, and use the code IFS15 to get yourself 15% off everything in store. For anybody who has watched us since the start of this season, the code has changed. So if you want to go and get 15% off, IFS15. Top scorer for round 6 was Jake. How good's his team name? Phallus Duncan with a PH. For 14-16. That is a monster score. I had a look at his team and he had the captaincy on Lomax, passed on the Kalen Ponga loop. Captain Lomax had Manu in his team. He had SJ, he had AFB and Terrell May in front row forward. One of the better weeks of all time. So congrats to Jake. And mate, send us an email at contact@insightfantasysports.com.au and we'll get you either a 4-in-1 or a squeeze pack, courtesy of the Standard Squeeze. And I missed the announcement last week, but Rowan's still in the lead, coach of the Cotton Pickers. He's now into 43rd overall. I wonder what that feels like, Josh. Must be pretty good.
Could only drink 43rd overall. Fuck, I'll take 43k overall at this point. Speaking of, I don't think we've got the right overlay. I'm very happy with the overlay that we've selected because it doesn't have my rank on it. But yeah, I mean, 43rd overall is amazing. Obviously, there's a couple of people up and about that top 50 that have sort of run out of boost. So hopefully, Rowan, you've held on to a few of those. And yeah, we wish you all the best in that 50k endeavor.
Absolutely. Now let's move into the games, boys. We've got Thursday night 7:50. The first one we've got Roosters versus Storm at Allianz Stadium. Teddy is back from his 11-day stand down, which is positive for owners. I don't think many people held him, but it's good to see him back. Manu back to centre though. Palga drops out, and Satili is replaced by Egan Butcher. But we also see Sam Walker in the reserve, so there's every chance he might be a little late call up Thursday 6:50 p.m. For the Storm, we've got Nelson Asofa Solomona in for Tui Kamikamitha, and then we've got this hurts me. Joe Chan onto the bench for Tepai Moroa.
Our AEs are just cooked this week, aren't they? Because like these guys, they have good enough break evens where you're like, fuck, especially Joe Chan. Like if he gets 30 minutes and scores 25 points, you're like, amazing. There's an extra 30k they didn't have. But you're like, well, I just can't fucking loop this week, can we?
No. I don't know how many good loop options there are unless you're a Warriors owner of some sort. If you've got an SJ like Mattrix does, then yeah, that's a play. Who else are you going to VC? We'll talk about this in captaincy, but like it's kind of like a Storm player or nobody.
It's actually it's kind of cooked. I mean, I was looking at like Walsh VC into Hines C, but it's just like Walsh would have to go for like, and the reason why I'm leaving the VC so late is because I can get a look at Talagi and Chan. Yep. But it's like unless your VC goes for like 150, 160, it's hard to stomach because you know you're going to cop probably a sub 10 score.
I'm pretty confident in my captain this week as well, so I think I'm just going to punt the VC altogether and just not really care unless Harry Grant comes out and gets 180.
I saw the screenshots in the chat. I saw that you had the captaincy on Viliami Kiko this week.
Yeah. I mean that left side, you said it's humming. So
against Dylan Lucas, yeah, sweet.
Yeah, that's it. Not really anything else to mention in this one in terms of viable players. We talked about Gus Crichton already, so we can probably move on to Friday 6 p.m. We've got the Dragons and the Warriors at Wynn Stadium. Lomax at centre. Now, in the buy hold sell, we mentioned the fact that we don't necessarily love him at centre. If he was at wing, though, does it make it more appealing for you, Mattrix? If he was named on the wing this week, is he a buy?
Yeah, well, apparently he wants to play at centre and he wasn't getting it at the Dragons, so now he's leaving the Dragons. So love that for Lomax. He's going to be very happy this week to score 45. But yeah, look, honestly, if he's on the wing, lock him in for a VC. Now that he's in the centres, lock him in for 50. That's what I think.
It's going to be one of the all-time like Supercoach capitulations next year, isn't it? Like he's going to average probably something like 75 this year. And he'll come in at price at like 770, 780 next week. That's next year. But then playing center, non-goal kicking, next year it's just going to be like a fucking disaster.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's going to be 0% owned to start the year next year.
Does he play center next year? Like you'd expect it to be Lomax left center, Sevo left wing. Like you'd assume that's the
who's this
Sevo
Sevo bloke?
Get a run this year.
Yeah, he's a really promising guy. He's averaging 63 this year. I wouldn't buy him though. Might get dropped. But like, so it'd be Penasini right center. Like they're not moving Penasini.
No,
you'd assume Sevo left wing, Lomax left center, and then right wing it's like Sean Russell or Simonson or whoever.
Yeah, they're pretty high on Bailey Simonson. I think. I think he finds a spot somewhere.
Isaac Lumi when he had that one good trial like 2 years ago.
That was so good.
Yeah. What a player. Tui Pelotu comes in on the wing, though. And
I think he's on the bench for the Bulldogs reserve grade team, which just shows you like Zach Sini.
Wow.
Remember him? He was a COVID Parramatta icon.
Hayes Dunster, bring him back. Tui
Hayes.
Pelotu is back on the wing, which obviously forced this change for Lomax to go into centre. That's the only change for the Dragons, though. They're backing themselves in. And it is at Wynn Stadium. So a bit of a trickier. Sorry?
The Fortress.
Well, they don't call it Lose Stadium.
Boys, do you remember when I had Tupolotu in my team for like a brief minute in the preseason when he was like at Manly?
You remember that? I had him in my fantasy team for a good couple of weeks, I reckon. Lucky I talked myself out of that. For the Warriors.
So when he scores, a hat trick this weekend, we can be like, "Fuck, man!" Like we were looking at him
in my team. I just got influenced. All these bloody podcasters talk me out of getting him. Adam Pompey, he's back on the bench to replace Jazz Tavanga, who's out injured with a hammy, multiple week injury for him. So we'll see Pompey get some bench minutes there. We talked about Tamari Martin. He holds the 5'8" spot. Now, if you got the cash, surely Dallin Watene-Zelezniak is an option this week against the Dragons.
I floated the idea of making my last boost to you guys, and I'm like 30k short of Dallin, and I'd fucking do it for Dallin because yeah, it could score a few this week at a quick dry track at Win, and you know, obviously SJ and Chan's playing amazing. It's a good shout, I think.
Yeah, it could be a nice little pod pick for anybody who doesn't really kind of take it as serious as us and wants to have a bit of fun and pick a bunch of pods and stuff. Dallin, I reckon, is the pod of the week.
I don't even know if he's. I don't even think it's that spicy. I just think Dallin's elite.
It's just no one's really picked.
It's no Mike Acevo in round 4, but he's played no footy this year.
that was ultimate spice. How'd that go for you?
Mate, it was fucking going good. Then he gets dropped. Imagine that. Imagine the start of the season I said to you, a high-profile Parramatta player gets dropped for performance. Mike Acevo would be the fucking last person you'd pick.
Oh, I thought Dylan Brown would have ended up at the Fiddler again if you were fucking saying that. Let's move on. Friday, 8 o'clock. We got, speaking of Dylan Brown, we've got the Eels versus the Dolphins at TIO Stadium in Darwin. You mentioned the 8 p.m. game in Darwin. Does anybody check the temperature? It's surely going to be steaming.
It'll be like 36 with that fucking 95% humidity.
Yeah.
Junior Barlow will
28 feels like 64.
Junior Barlow will play like a 15-minute stint and come off and just be fucking drenched.
Yeah, absolutely. That'll be pretty tough for the forwards, and you know we'll talk about the reason why we don't agree with the bench very soon. But like, Blaze Talangi in the 17 jersey, that Kelma Tuolangi dropped out of the bench or dropped off the bench for Blaze as well. So I'm interested in the thinking here from BA. You just never try and get in his head because you're not really going to get anywhere.
I think Brad Arthur's also interested in the thinking of BA as well.
He is. Sivo's in the reserves, Josh. Any hope?
We'll pray. I doubt it, but we'll pray. We'll do a bit of a song and dance, and hopefully that something happens. But no, I doubt it. Unfortunately for Sivo, scored 2 tries in New South Wales Cup last week, boys. Yeah, what could have been? What could have been?
Yeah, New South Wales Cup Supercoach. First pick.
Yeah. I'm massively in there. Trey Fuller, fullback for Hamiso. Max Platt starts at 12, with Stone to the bench and O'Sullivan on the bench for Milford. Now, there's been a little bit of confusion about Trey Fuller, not currently in the game at the moment. Will be added before. I can see you both chuckling, and I saw a comment being put up on the screen earlier. I didn't get to read it, but Trey Fuller.
Sorry. No, it was good. I enjoyed it. Second solution saying, good thing they've got Talangi to take over for Polo. Yeah,
big middle presence there from Blaze. But no, do you think Brad Arthur's like, oh, I need that forward, that Kelma bloke. I need him on the bench. And then like he's filtered his roster on like a spreadsheet by name, and then he's picked the wrong one when he submitted the teams. Like he meant to pick Kelma.
Every chance. Yeah, I don't know.
So
we've talked about him.
Trey Fuller, obviously not in the game yet. No idea what price he'll come in at because he scored 54 last year. He played one game, scored 54. But like, does he come in at a bottom dollar price? There's no relevance to him, but I'm just curious on what price he comes in that and what price he set. He was decent.
Yeah. Good work rate at the back. Known try scorer in cup football as well. So hopefully he does well.
Yeah, decent. But yeah, I mean, unless he has like some kind of centre wing eligibility, then I've got no interest, which I don't think he will.
Probably not. We've got Plath back in the 13, Stone to the bench. Sean O'Sullivan is back from the dead, thanks to Anthony Milford and his suspension. So yeah, no relevance there. But
Sauce on the bench. Jesus Christ.
Good to see him.
Poor old Sean. I feel bad for him.
The next big thing coming out of Panthers, wasn't he, when he replaced Nathan Cleary for those few games when he was injured, and he did a stellar job, and then he's gone to the Finns and just shat the bed.
I haven't played a competitive game of footy since I was 18, but I feel like I could come into Penrith and look good, and then some shit NRL team would pick me up and I'd do nothing there as well. I mean, like Jack Cogger, another one that just
studs. Brad Schneider.
He'll get like a $600K a year deal somewhere. Who needs a halfback? Titans. Titans law for Brad Schneider money.
I messaged Braino during the week and actually a bit earlier on, and we were talking about Sean O'Sullivan, and I said I turn up to a Dolphins game with my boots in the back of the car just in case I get a run.
Just in case.
So, yeah, just in case.
I mean, speaking of Sean O'Sullivan and Brad Schneider and Jack Cogger, Panthers, Tigers at Bathurst. We know that the Tigers are just, premiership heavyweights when it comes to playing at Bathurst. Scott Sorensen returns from a knee injury with Luke Garner to the bench with superstar Lockie Galvin back in, Bud Sullivan out. I can hear all of Campbelltown rejoicing as I say that. Brett Naden replaces Fa'a Tape. They continue to cheer off that one. Bateman pushes Safar to the bench. Sammy Fainu is back on the bench after his concussion protocol. Latu Fainu returns as well from his hamstring complaint, pushing Matamua and Simkin out. A lot of changes. Good lineup from the Tigers. I like this one. Hey, time to do it. No Cleary. Hopefully, I thought Yam was dropped, but he's not. But no Cleary. Any love for the Tigers?
Oh, what are we paying? $4?
Probably not enough. I'll have a look.
Surely.
Last time I got on him, we were paying $10.
I still wouldn't got on.
Mate, I got on him at $10.50 last year when we beat him in the rain. It was one of my best bets of the year. But I the first thing I did when I looked up the Bathurst game was look at the better in Bathurst.
$4.90. We're getting
not low enough.
We're getting a 13.5 start.
I'd take the start.
This could be the best team. Like the way that you have named the team this week, this is how I would pick the team. So thanks, Justin.
Coach Mattrix coming in hot. I don't know, really. There's not really much else to talk about here except the fact that Taylor May could score 4 tries on Naden's head and could be in all sorts. But
also could punch him 4 times in the head as well and get suspended. So who knows?
And it'd still be better than playing for Tape. So,
mate, for Tape, honestly, like for someone that's, I don't know how you can just not score points. Like I don't know how you can be a bottom dollar cheapie and make fuck all money. Like I just don't get it.
First thing I checked here was whether it was pissing down rain, and there is no rain in sight in Bathurst for this game Saturday afternoon, unfortunately.
We'll have to go to a rain dance at Bathurst.
Yep. Saturday 5:30, Titans and Sea Eagles at Seabus. We've got Jaden Campbell out with that knee issue. I think it was a PCL or an MCL. Can't remember which one, but he'll miss some time. Philip Sami to fullback. What the fuck?
Des has just lost it.
What is going? I don't get it. You got Keanu Keeney just sitting there rotting. Pick the bloke. Like he was decent first couple of games.
What do you mean?
Des can pick Fafita at fullback at the moment. I wouldn't be surprised.
You have 2023 Supercoach icon Tanner Boyd also sitting there ready to play.
That's true.
He went to Canberra Park High.
He went to school with Fafita.
Can't believe that. Is that the first time that's been said on this podcast? I think it might be. Brimson's still at 5'8". Brimson's still at 5'8". We've got Fafita starting though, so
we had Fafita starting last week, and he benched him, and they lost. So it's just like what the
good coaching, just good coaching all round. But I mean, we spoke on Sunday, Josh, and we kind of disagreed that I'd buy Fafita if his price kind of bottomed into the 600s. You probably wouldn't because the Titans suck. I mean, now that he's starting, is there any love there? We just let him bottom out for a couple more weeks, and then you just snap him up when surely he bottoms out soon in the fortnight.
Braino, if I didn't want to buy him at 580, why would I fucking buy him at 793?
I'm just asking whether you've changed your mind, whether you've come to your senses.
No. I mean, we talk about weird benching decisions. How much do you guys want to bolt a bet that on game day we get Joe Offahengawi starts and Barlow to the bench like we have every fucking week for the past?
I'm not bolt betting that. I don't like giving away beer. That's going to happen.
It was like I think it was like 3 years ago for the Knights. Connor Watson just got moved to the bench every week, and Solo just started every week as well. Like it just, I don't know why coaches do it. Like once or twice. Yeah, Starling's another one. Like once or twice it might catch opposition coaches out, but like when you've moved Offahengawi to starting and Barlow to the bench 5 weeks in a row, like surely coaches is like whatever. Like we don't fucking care, Brad. But yeah, it wouldn't surprise me.
He does it on a 4-week rotation, so like he'll do that for 4 weeks, and then Ryan Madison will start starting at 13, and Jermaine Hopgood will get benched soon. So he's just got to let everybody have a go.
It furthers my conspiracy that NRL coaches play some kind of fantasy where they'll just like tank their own players' stock, buy them low, and just get them back to production. But no, it wouldn't surprise me if Fafita's moved to the bench. But yeah, at 790, I have zero interest whatsoever.
Bit going on at Manly though, Mattrix. You got Matt Lodge back. He replaces Toff Sipley with that injury. You got Garrick back after the HIA, and I've seen a lot of chat. There's a bit of chat in the Discord about Ruben Garrick, and I think it's the appeal of the Titans matchup. But his break even is $1 million. Like, but I think it's 165. but we spoke before the show. He could hit 165 against the Titans.
Yeah. Oh, I don't know. I still think if he was playing the Gatton Hawks this week, I still would just give Garrick a miss. Like, I just can't get around this. Honestly, like 165, like Josh can probably say, like, when it comes to like bringing in Reece Walsh at 140, it often just ends badly.
I don't know, boys. Like I'm looking at round 15 last year because yours truly had the vice captaincy on Ribbon Gate when he played center against the Dolphins. Punch out a 169. Like any chance? Any danger?
He wasn't in the centers, was he?
I think he was.
He was. Yeah, right center.
Yeah, right.
I was at the gym. I remember I was at the gym and like something happened.
Yeah.
I think Wacko tweeted something and one of my players was out and I had to change my vice captaincy. I was like, fuck, I don't know. Garrick will do. And then I was at the gym and checked my phone at halftime. It was on like 110. I was like, what the fuck's happened?
Yeah, could happen. You just don't know. But anyway, Garrick's quality player, but he's back after his HIA regardless. Nathan Brown back on the bench and Jason Saab is back on the wing. Now, with the Titans, I think there's some pretty compelling stats in terms of try scorers. That their right side, their right edge defense is the worst in the comp by a very, very large margin. I haven't checked the updated stats, but I know Schiller scored a double last week on the right wing. And I think last week they had conceded, I think it was like 7 or 8 tries to right wings and centers. I think it was 7 tries to right wingers and 4 tries to right centers in the competition. And that was last week before Schiller went in. So there's every chance they've nearly conceded 9 to 10 tries to right wingers this week. So Jason Saab should be on the right wing. Am I right? That could be monstrous.
Isn't he
Huge
out?
for the draft?
Is Saab out?
Isn't
Have I just talked about a player that's out the whole time? Surely.
No,
Oh no,
no, he got
Saab's back. I was like, sorry. I was like, didn't Saab do his hamstring? But no, that was like fucking.
No, he got named back. That was round 1.
I was like,
round 7
for a player that's fucking sitting in Reggie's.
No, but like Garrick could score 32 points in goal kicks alone.
Yeah,
like they could score 8 or 9 tries.
Yeah, their right side could have some fun in this one. Burbo's out, obviously. He's replaced by Corey Waddell as well, and there was a little bit of love for Corey Waddell, and I don't hate it, to be honest.
I don't endorse reckless gambling, but I will. Mainly a 9.5 point underdogs. Sorry, not 9.5 point favorites. They only have to win by 10 to cover the line.
Is that your bet this week?
I don't want to forecast, but maybe. Like, I don't know. I feel like the bookmakers are overreacting to a very close loss against a dreadful fucking Raiders side.
Yeah. Honestly, I'm playing Corey Waddell here in draft. Like, it's like
100%.
Corey Waddell's a good play this week.
I'd play Corey Waddell over like Sean Bloor.
Sean Lane.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. Sean Lane. Fuck,
Any other Seans?
I'd play Blaze Tulagi off the bench over Sean Lane at the moment.
What about Sean Russell?
Sean O'Sullivan? Sean O'Sullivan off the bench?
Yep, like it.
What about Sean Berry?
All right. We better move on. So 7:30 Saturday, we've got the Broncos, your Broncos, Mattrix, and the Raiders at Suncorp. Are you going to this one? You usually go to most games, don't you, at Suncorp?
You know what? I think I've got dinner with some friends and I tried to get out of it to go to this one, but because it's my turn with my brother because I missed the Redcliffe game, but he might get 2 weeks in a row. But honestly, with the way Madden was steering the ship around, I'm not expecting a lot from the Broncos. Raiders were bad last week as well, but so were the Broncos. This could be like watching the Redcliffe Broncos game again last week because I don't know if these two teams are playing quality.
Sorry, who's Redcliffe?
Oh, sorry, the.
Yeah, I think know the.
When the played Brisbane last week, yeah.
Braino, you said Mattrix, it's his Broncos. They're also my adopted team this week as I'm looking at Reece Walsh with 190 break even.
Yeah, you need that, don't you? Yeah, have you got a spare jersey for him, Mattrix? You might be able to send it.
I do actually. Do you fit in a small?
I have a Queensland jersey. It's a similar shade. I might like get on Photoshop and just print out a sticky Broncos like I just put it on. Man, I need all the fucking help I can get. Otherwise, my 760k asset is gonna be fucking 530k next week.
Yeah, that sucks. But again, you only lose cash if you sell, so you just got to hold on, maybe. Yeah, no Reynolds, so Madden's in. That's the only change really for the Broncos. Hosking, he's replaced by Mariota, and then Schiller. He's named again This is literally the best thing that could have happened for us this week. I think everyone was worried about Hopewadi coming in and basically just going back to his right wing, but we get another price rise from our boy Schiller. Bit of Schiller about him.
500k. Fuck, it's phenomenal.
Wild. Yeah, and what does he need to score 5? He only needs like 45, 50.
We could buy Schiller at 270 and sell him at 500 and bank a 300k profit when we sell to Chevy Stewart next week.
And in 2 weeks. That's a 2-week 300k
300k in 2 weeks. What the fuck?
Fucking insane. Anyway, most people got on, so that's not really a talking point. Really much else to mention here.
Do you think the Raiders in their salary cap have budgeted for a personal chef for Albert Hopewadi now?
You'd hope so, wouldn't you? Yeah, not his forte, the old kitchen. Sunday, 2 p.m, Bulldogs Knights at Accor Stadium. We've got Blake Taff shafted to the bench. Tracy holds the fullback spot. Kind of intrigues me a little bit. I like Connor Tracy. I'm a fan of Connor Tracy. I mean, probably not the right price though. I actually didn't even check what he costs, but
he scored 20 last week, but he passed the eye test.
I also think, because I did my break even post earlier. I think he was in the top 17. So he's 588k with a BE of 123.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Okay. Just let that one through to the keeper for a couple of weeks.
It's the Dean Mariner syndrome of like a guy you think is going to be a lot cheaper than what it is, but he's not. Like that was me looking at Tristan Saylor like 3 weeks ago when Walsh went down. I was like, "Oh, this could be spicy," and then he's like 540k. You're like, "Oh, never mind."
Yeah, no deal. Curran starts at lock, Salmon edge. I mean, Curran was at prop last week, and then Hughes got punted. Like they're just basically Curran just likes to line up in a different jersey each week. I think. I think like you know how players like they frame their representative jerseys. Yeah.
I think Curran's on the quest to have every fucking Bulldogs jersey in his like media room. Like he might be a fullback next week. If Tracy shits the bed, I wouldn't be shocked to see Curran at fullback.
Imagine the flowing mullet bringing the ball back outside his own 10. That would be nice.
Obviously, Sam Hughes, our boy, starts with Jamin Salmon on the edge as well, and Bronson Jerry holds his spot too. But boys, what is Drew Hutchinson? What kind of info does he have on Cam Ciraldo?
To keep Toby Sexton out of the team, I completely understand if there was nobody there that could replace him. But you've just got Sexton sitting there wasting.
Toby Sexton isn't even playing a halfback in Reggie's at the moment.
No, that was weird. He was named a hooker, but I think he played halfback from everything that I read. But like, I don't know. Ciraldo came out and said, "Oh, like Hutch is there for his defensive efforts." I think Sexton made like 36 tackles last week in Reggie's and missed like 1, and I think Hutchinson made 23 and missed 5. So it's like it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, he's the slowest man on the planet too. Like you just got to get a bit of energy in the 7 jersey, I think. But anyway, we'll let Ciraldo work that one out when they're coming last.
Hang on, I'm sure there's 69,103 more people that are better than me at this game that probably own Hutchinson. So, maybe it's just the case. Maybe I got to buy Hutcho.
But then you'll kill him. Like he'll just shit the bed as soon as you
get
him.
Then my anti-Hutch agenda is complete. So maybe I just take one to the team.
Yeah, and buy Luke Brooks as well while you're at it. Last one of the week, Sunday 4 p.m. We've got the Sharks and the Cowboys at PointsBet. Braden Hamlin-Ueli, he returns. He's in the 17 jersey off the bench. Kale Iro holds that center spot, which is what everybody was praying for throughout the week. So big win there. Talakai's still on the bench. And we've got Stone Street coming in to replace Katoa. Big raps on Stone Street as well. Big kind of tall, athletic, powerful guy. So I'm interested to see how he goes.
That's what both the Sharks wingers are. They're just big fucking bodies. And even the outside backs, like Iro's a big boy. So is Jesse Raymond. So just a big body to relieve in the middle. But yeah, that bench rotation is slowly getting back to its best. So interesting to see like Cam McInnes on the watch as well. Like he's one to look at because he's definitely an attractive buy. But you want to know what that role looks like. And as that bench fills out, then hopefully we'll get a clearer idea. Tom Chester has locked in that right center spot for Zach Laybutt for the Cowboys. And Semi Valame replaces Murray Talagi, who picked up that injury, as we mentioned earlier, at training. But Cowboys are 1 through. Thomas McHaley somehow just seems to be not looked. And Jake Granville and Jack Kosevsky keep getting minutes. So what do I know?
Do you know what you should do? You should add Semi Valame in your draft competitions right now. he is a very good winger. Definitely not a classic play. I think he's like 650k. But for draft, just get him in. Just lock him in. Play him this week. You'll be rewarded.
First. Let's see how this one ages until next week.
Draft expert Mattrix.
Yeah,
that's it. Well, I'm definitely not a draft expert. I think I've won one game out of like 6 this year, so it's been tough. But you know what? Let's talk through captains because there's a little bit to talk about. VC loops. We'll talk captains soon, so let's do that.
Are you ready, kids?
Aye, aye, Captain!
VC is sparse. There's really not much going on for VC this week. I'm looking at maybe 4 players that are kind of 3 players and probably one questionable one. Harry Grant, Ryan Pappenhausen in the first game of the week, purely just because they're playing on Thursday. If you had to pick one, who is it? What do you reckon?
Pappy?
For VC, Pap.
Yeah, just a higher upside kind of pick, isn't it?
Yeah.
With Nelson Asofa Solomon at the back, though, that benefits Harry Grant a fair bit through the middle of the field.
Of course. It's what we've been sort of looking for the past couple of weeks. You'd love to have Tui there as well. You'd love to have Tui and Nas there as well because Josh King is just Josh King. Like he'll give you 6 minutes a run and that's about it. But like Tui and Nas offer so much. Could you imagine Harry Grant and the Broncos? Like obviously like it wouldn't happen, but like just in that makeup of like the forward pack that they've got with like Haas, Carrigan, Takora, X-Man. Well, I could get like 40 tries. He'd be like 2005 Tim Smith. He'd just get like 40 tries this year. Insane.
Could do. He'd be like Tigers Harry Grant.
Oh, mate. Tigers Harry Grant is your favorite player's favorite player. But the problem is with VC this week and Harry Grant is like last week, Harry Grant would have been great because we probably only had 17 players at best and you're getting a free loop. So it was like, we'll take a 80. But this week, it's like your expectations and your threshold for VC looping is just so much higher because of the uncertainty over Chan and whatnot. And at least Chan, you'll get it. If you're selling Tulagi this week, amazing, because you'll get a good look at Chan in the first game. You don't have to wait all week to see what Chan produces for you. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's AE Nightmares unite this week. Any love for Warriors, Mattrix? I think you're looking at one of them, right?
Yeah, and I mean, Dallin Wateni Zalesniak could be another one here. Like, I was talking off the cuff of like a Ronnie Mulatalo or someone was playing early on in the week. You'd go vice captain. You probably can't captain him, but yeah, no, SJ is one that I'm looking at. He's pretty highly owned out there as well. I think that you should chuck the VC on SJ and just see what happens. St. George have been extremely up and down. If they get him on a down week, SJ could score 140.
Yeah, I think they're probably the 3 best options at this point, or 4 best options. You got SJ and DWZ, or you've got Pappy or Harry Grant, depending. If you've got both, you pick Pappy, but I don't have Pappy at the moment, so I'm probably just going to go Harry Grant VC on a Thursday night and just hope that he tears them up through the middle of the field. I did have Lomax here, but I don't think he's relevant unless he's on the wing.
Yep.
Correct.
Agree.
Cool. All right, well, we should move into captains. There is one standout, and there is one that I haven't even thought twice about. I'm not even thinking twice about captain. I'm locking captain on Turbo this week versus Gold Coast Titans. They have conceded the most tries to fullbacks this year by a considerable margin. I think it's 7 or 8 tries to fullbacks this year, and I think the next closest is 4 or 5. So surely Turbo turns up for this one. I know it is on the Gold Coast, but I don't think that really matters. It's usually a pretty fast track up there too. Weather looks decent. I haven't checked the weather for every game, but is that where you're leaning as well, Matty?
Yeah, it's Turbo. I was looking at Ponga. I was just waiting to hear, but that hit pointer has just scared me off because Ponga versus the Bulldogs is also a very attractive matchup. But look, Turbo versus the Gold Coast, if you had to see anybody, you can't look past that.
Yep. Ponga versus the Bulldogs is tempting, though, is it? Yeah, I think you mentioned at the start, Matty, it's that hit pointer that just creates a couple of question marks as to whether he's going to be at his absolute best. So, I mean, we own Turbo and Ponga. So it might be good to get Josh's opinion. Who would you pick if you had both?
Probably Turbo. I think I've seen enough defensive in the Bulldogs to be like, all right, Ponga will still go well, but he's not going to get 30 points in goal kicking, which probably makes up the difference between him and Turbo. Like, I'm terrified not owning either. Like, I'm shitting bricks not having either, but like probably more shitting bricks not having Turbo. In saying that, could be a trap game, but 5:30 Gold Coast dry track. The only like, I don't know, this is like a weird subconscious thing, but like, what if the referees are more lenient to the Titans because they got fucking dudded last week and they just get to lay in the ruck a bit more? Like, it's very small things like that, but it's I'm captaining Turbo if you have him. If you have him, I think he's the most slam dunk captain out of the lot, especially with the AEs. You can pretty much just straight captain him with confidence.
This last game of the week is an interesting one because you've got a couple of options, or at least one option on either side. You got Nico Hines for obvious reasons against the Cowboys. It is at points bet. We know the Sharks are flat track bullies and they love playing at home. But Cowboys
the games have gone back now. We have a fucking 2:00 shit fight on a Sunday. Oh, did not miss that.
I don't mind the 2:00 Sunday, to be honest.
Are we going live earlier now?
Oh, we probably can.
I'm still on the barbecue by the time the Sharks vs Cowboys finish, but let's see how we go.
Yeah, I mean, maybe earlier doesn't mean 8:30. Maybe we can get on at 7:30 or something like that. Who knows?
Sweet.
We'll
2:00 shit fight. I don't like it.
Yeah, fair. I just don't like fucking watching football till 8 p.m. on a Sunday.
Only because I have no children, so I can do that. But only because I've gotten into more AFL this year. The AFL starts at 1:00 on a Sunday, so I can just like crack that on and just fucking do nothing until 4:00 when the footy resurrects.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. I usually miss the 6 p.m. game because I'm like, we're doing dinner and bath and fucking getting the kid to bed and stuff. So like, I don't even get to see the last game. Yeah. But anyway, all good. Nico versus the Cowboys, or are we looking at maybe someone like Val or Drinky against the Sharks, who definitely haven't been convincing?
No,
I think Nico has done enough to make him not a captain option for me.
Yeah, but there's like no one else. Like, if you don't own Turbo, if you're one of the fucking weird people who don't own Turbo or Ponga, firstly, have a good long hard look at yourself. And secondly, like, but secondly, like, I don't know, like, he's probably like a safe 75, 80. And at this point, I'll fucking take that with captaincy.
Yeah, that's fair. No,
I looped 90 last week. I get it.
Is there any? So Rowan in the chat. Is there any love for Ronaldo Mulatalo?
Oh, I thought you were going to ask, is there any love for Mullen into Andrew Eddinghausen?
No. I'm so stupid. Like, my eyes are that cooked. I just saw MUL and just assumed it was Mulatalo.
There's love for Ronnie Mulatalo. I'm not going to do it, but yeah, just squeeze him and just go it, because nothing else can hurt you as much as that little squeeze that you've just done.
Shout out to Supercoach Guns, who does the try map every week. Like, that thing is a Bible when I'm looking at like good matchups, or I'm on the punt and I want to find an anytime try scorer. That's what I'm looking at. So keep an eye out for that. He lets us share it in the Discord as well. So shout out to Guns. I don't really want to talk about bets because I've been fucking shocking, but we probably should do the Punters Club for the.
Here comes the money. Here we go. Money talk. Here comes the money.
Ironically, there has been no money.
We're down piles. We're down. What are we? Round 7, so 6 bets and a Vegas. We're down $70. So good start to the season. My bet, as I said, with confidence. Lock of the week. Manly -9.5.
I mean, maybe I can double in on the back of that and say, with confidence, Turbo anytime, $1.91. Like, Turbo to score a try at $1.91 against the Gold Coast Titans, who leaked the most tries to fullbacks this year, is a moral for me. If I get this wrong, I fucking give up. Like, I'm done for Punters Club this year if Turbo doesn't score a try this weekend.
It's just you and me, Josh. Then after that,
I'll pull the pin. I'll fucking finish.
I don't know. I've got that much confidence in Manly covering that if they don't cover, then I'm probably out too.
Yeah.
And Mattrix, what's yours?
Corey Oates always scores at Suncorp.
No, fuck off. I'm not.
Death, taxes, and Corey Oates scoring at Suncorp. So Corey Oates anytime. First leg to get up last week. So if we boost that, we're getting $6.54. So we'll win back $64. So we'll be in for 80 and out for 65. So we'll be down $15. So we'll lock that one in. Manly -9.5 into Turbo anytime, into Corey Oates anytime try scorer too. With all this Corey Oates if we're talking about accidental bets in our bets with mates group, at least I get up when I do it, Josh.
Shut up. Leave me alone. Yeah. Well, less about that, the better. I have to cover the bets for the next couple of weeks because I accidentally blew all the money that we had because I looked at the wrong account.
Didn't you fucking blow it as well? Started throwing fucking big $50 around.
Well, I just assumed it was my account. Like I just forgot to swap it over, and I was very degenerate. But no, with all this Corey Oates love, I'm expecting to see in the Discord later this week, Mattrix's trade-ins, and it better feature Corey Oates.
Oates and Hose.
Nope. I don't own Broncos players in Supercoach. I never do. I never will. They can only let me down once.
All right. Do we have stingers for? I'm assuming we don't have stingers for games. But Ian Johnson, I know you're in the chat. You'll be very happy to know we have guessed the player back, and we're going to change up a little bit this week. We're going to do. It'll be a teams. I'll have the player. Mattrix and Brain will work together. They have 10 questions to work out this player, and your questions start now.
Does he play in New South Wales?
He does.
Okay. Sydney player?
It is.
Sydney club? Sydney club. Okay.
Is he back?
He is not.
So he has to be a forward. Is he an edge back rower?
He is not.
Oh, okay. So he's a middle forward.
Okay.
At a Sydney club. Okay. Your question, Matty?
I'm not real good with geography, but has the club been around for 50 years?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
So we're talking Roosters, we're talking Rabbitohs, we're talking...
Yeah.
No, the Rabbitohs folded in 2004, mate. They're a new club.
So, yeah. Okay. Oh, does that...
No, it doesn't.
Thank you. I'll take it. Yeah,
the Rabbitohs are included. The Rabbitohs are included.
And with Dragons?
Okay.
They've been around 50 years.
Yeah, merger clubs are fine. Yeah.
Yeah.
So did you say yes to Dragons?
Yeah, Dragons count. Dragons count, yeah.
Oh.
No, it's not a Dragon. Have you asked me the team? The Dragons are included. The Dragons are included in that bunch of.
Oh,
of
that was
teams.
the joke. No, I get you because I saw a couple of things in the chat saying that St George are out when we asked if it was a Sydney team. Just taking the piss out of
it. No, St George are not included in the Sydney team. No.
Sydney Roosters.
It is. That's 6 questions.
Oh, I've got 4 questions left.
We're a 4. Is it current player?
It is. I won't count that as a question because they're all Supercoach related, so they're all current. So we're still at 6 questions.
So it's a middle forward from the Sydney Roosters. Forward.
Not a front row forward.
I mean,
7 questions asked. You got 3 left.
So it's not a front row forward. It's not an edge back rower.
Yeah, so
it's a lock. It's a lock forward.
So it must be Victor Radley.
Could be a hooker.
Oh,
so you got 3 questions left.
All right. Is it Brandon Smith?
It is not. 2 questions left.
Is it Victor Radley?
It is Victor Radley. Well done. Well done. Good stuff.
Tell you what, it was kind of elimination there. Like if it wasn't a hooker, then it was going to be the hooker.
It was like you got 2 options here. I mean, I could. Who else is there? Connor Watson. It could have been Connor Watt.
Yeah, there's a couple of people in the chat said Connor Watson.
No, it was it was Victor Radley. Well done. A couple of questions and we'll finish up.
Yeah, definitely. Let's tackle all these questions.
It's question time. Let's answer your questions for the week ahead.
Keep them coming in because we've been trying to star them as we go. So we'll do our best to keep up. But Nick Porridge asking to kick things off, the best premium centre wing to buy this week.
I think we've said it. The Mullet Man, DWZ.
Yeah, it's
DWZ, right?
That's my shout.
And it's a nice little pod too, isn't it? So
we discussed him. I think we discussed him 2 weeks ago, and we were like, "Oh, could be time when Chance is back." And then we sort of gave it a week or 2, but now it's just like, yeah, like primed it ready with a draw as well.
And that SJCNK DWZ right side connection is like probably one of the best in the comp. So yeah, back that in, especially with a nice matchup this week. Ian Johnson.
Like, for some reason, opposition wingers just fucking jam. Like Rocco Berry's not getting the ball. Stop jamming, but they just do it every time.
Yeah, I think it's a habit thing. Ian Johnson Hey lads, good to see you back. Ranked 1366. Should I prioritise points more than cash gen, or should I still go half and half? Trades are Hammer to Iro, Bradley to Gus Crichton. Bradley, it's interesting, and Henry to AFB. Nice trades.
Shout out Kane Bradley. He survived
100%.
a month and a half.
He deserves it.
Very good.
I don't know. I think the points versus cash and things. I don't know. Maybe like don't take this the wrong way, but rank means fuck all. We're 6 rounds in. Like, believe it or not, I'm still only like 700 points outside of the top 1K. Like it's not the be all and end all right now. Like when we get into round 10, 11, 12, you get a better idea. But yeah, for me, still prioritize your cash ends. You've got a really good cash cow and Eero staring you in the face, who's also a good playable option with like a floor of 40 odds. So I think when cash cows are slapping you in the face, don't go away from them just because you think you're trying to protect your rank. It'll go up and down, but your team value will definitely help you in the long run.
Yeah, for sure. I like those trades. I think I was talking to Ian in DMs a couple of days ago when the lockout ended, and I can't argue with any of those. Hamo, for anybody who isn't necessarily an NRL person or isn't clued onto what happened with Gus, why does Gus Crichton go from not playing any minutes at all to then just going straight in and playing 80 minutes? Do you want to kind of explain how this works?
I explained this one with the Clayton Oliver comparison, but for anyone tuning in late, just off-season dramas and embroiled in sort of personal controversy, and obviously the rise of like Nat Butcher. Like he was just a very meat and potatoes middle who developed into a really good edge. Egan Butcher had that really good preseason last year that really accelerated him. So, and there was also like a lot of unknowns about Gus's future with rugby and stuff. So, and obviously embroiled with all the preseason controversy that's never really been confirmed, but very well speculated. So, yeah, just really good to see him back.
100%. Hayden Oddie, who would you play if you only had to pick one of Strange or Galvin? Which is, again, a pretty relevant question for a lot of us.
We discussed this off air. We were chatting because I've got this dilemma myself, and we all probably collectively agreed that the Broncos is the better matchup than the Panthers. Penrith are still exceptionally without Cleary, and they've got Sorensen back now, who, that's their first choice edge pairings. So I'd be definitely going with Strange over Galvin.
I mean, defense won't be the problem for Penrith if they have a problem this week.
Oh no, if the Tigers win, it's like 8-6. It's not like it's going to be a shootout. Whereas the Broncos have had a tendency to leak some points this year, and Raiders are playing with confidence, and Strange is getting more involved week in, week out, and he's sort of overcalling for the ball and stuff, and he's getting more responsibility. So, I'd be taking Strange. I think he's playing this week, though. Can we get confirmation?
Per sources. Wayne Mulligan, does Kickout pass the eye test over Gus Bus?
Yeah, but no.
Eye test, yes.
200K.
It's
like,
the same price.
200K difference.
No, I think
he has like 500s, isn't he?
He has like 660, and Gus is like 450. That's the difference. He
has
expensive.
How much standard squeeze have you been drinking tonight? Because Kickout is 577. It's 100K more. But still, I don't think there's 10. I don't think Kickout's 10 points better than Crichton.
No, agreed. And he's still 10% owned, Kickout. Surely that's like ghost teams at the start of the season. All right. Jamesy AF. James Yaff. James, I think
it's James, just quickly. I don't want to, like, Kickout's been playing well, but let's not forget that he's got 3 scores under 50 points this year. And 3 scores over 80. So he's very much up and down, whereas Crichton will give you 60 week in, week out, and I just prefer that.
Yeah, good shout. All right, James, trading Danny Levi for bottom dollar Jaden Brayley this week. What's your opinion? Already have all the cheapies. Nice problem to have, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a bit like me at AFL. Like I'm looking at all this AFL content, and everyone's like, "Oh, you got to get these cheapies in." I'm like, I've somehow got these guys, so I'm pretty blessed to make luxury trades, and that is a trade that is luxury. I mean, it presents no points upside, but we've discussed Brayley at length about, he's 311K this week. He's got a 16 break even. So now's the time to jump on. It's just very boring, but less boring than Levi's 20 points after 50 minutes. I mean, Brayley will work into the season. He'll get more match fitness and probably look to be playing 65, 70 minutes at his peak. So much prefer him over Levi.
Do you think that's worth a trade?
If you've got nothing else to do.
He's already got all the cheapies. So
and who are all the cheapies? I mean, Galvin and Eero and Schiller, because Stewart can wait a week.
Yeah,
that Brayley's not getting dropped. So I don't hate it. It's not like not a sexy trade. But if you're sitting there with like 35 trades in the bank or 36 trades in the bank, then I think that's fine to make that move.
Yep.
And Levi's cash is sorely end. Surely Levi doesn't score another fucking try. Surely he's done.
Well,
anyway,
so Levi's 373k. His break even's 54, so he has to score a double to cover that.
So
a double with a line break as well to cover that break even. But 374, you've made yourself 135k. Well done to you. Yeah, I'd be jumping off. It's not costing you 2 trades because you started with him. It's not like you brought him in and bring him back out. You only started with him, so it's 1 trade for 134k. I think that's a really good move. And shout out to the 32 people that are trading him in this week.
Yeah, that's huge.
Honestly, I think there are some competitions that like at the end of the year, it's like who can have the worst. Surely there's like some mini leagues where people are like, right, anti-NRL, but like the goal is to have the shittest team value at the end of the season.
Yeah, just to, always buy at the top, sell at the bottom.
Well, it's like I was looking at Dane Laurie this week. I was looking at Dane Laurie. Shut the fuck up! I'll kick you from this chat. I was looking at Dane Laurie a couple of weeks ago. He was like 170 break even. He had like 4 trade-ins off the bench. So I was like, sure, people have to be like trying to tank their team value as much as possible.
Yeah, that's great. How good is that? Quick shout out to Mattrix here. Cade Burgess, a long-time follower of the show. The only reason he's here is for the banter and to watch Mattrix down the drinks and become more frivolous as my super coaching career is worse than career prospects for Jason Demetriou. That must be
that comment came in after you boys ripped me for Reece Walsh. I remember watching it and I chuckled to it. So always happy to be the punching bag for you boys. Someone has to do it.
You're welcome.
Tides are going to turn. Matrix is enjoying himself right now, but it's a long season, so you just never know how things are going to play out.
Hey, how's that fantasy rank going? Yeah, you're chirpy about that, weren't you?
He was too. He's coming 50th one week.
Yeah,
like 50K.
I'm top 5. I'm top 5K in both.
Oh, top 5K, is that it?
No, because I think we looked 1 week and you showed your rank and you're like 21,000th, and we're like, weren't you like 2 weeks ago 50th?
I think it was like a mid-round or something, and he was like terrible.
Yeah, it's like
it's I'm like 4,500th in that.
Is that all pathetic?
No,
thanks, man.
1,085th in fantasy.
Oh,
maybe.
When do I get the crown? When do I get the fantasy crown?
We'll have to do a fantasy show, and then you can have a crown. Very quickly, before we answer the rest of these questions, shout out to Ryan from Astute Newstead for supporting the show, long-term sponsor. Now, if you, I guess if your rates are above 6.2%, we're talking home loans here, residential home loans. Maybe you want to buy a home, or maybe you want to refinance and renovate, or if you want us to save some cash and you're in a bit of a tight spot, then you can reach out to Ryan at Astute Newstead for an obligation and cost-free inquiry. It won't cost you a thing. The beauty of it is Ryan will work Sundays. He already promised that he'll work Sundays for you, and he'll work around the clock, because he replied to me once on a Sunday and it opened the doors for me to just pepper him on Sundays. So, but in all seriousness, he's done me a solid buying my next home and looked after me through the whole process. Pretty simple process to go through. So made it nice and easy. And he's worked with you as well, Mattrix, right?
Yeah, despite the mustache, he's a good bloke. So
I need a mustache to get a comment. All right, next one. We've got Adam S. wants Munster, but not keen on boosting for it. Likely take him for Hammer next week. I'd say the right move is to wait. He wasn't our watch list.
Yep.
That's fine. Hammer loses no money this week and Munster loses plenty. So that's a rare instance where holding Hammer should be fine.
I know it's only break even at 90 though for Munster. Like it might not.
Yeah, I mean it's still like 20k is 20k.
Yeah,
like, you take it
for sure. Matrix STR Banks wants to know: does he add Pierce Paul? We haven't talked about him all night, which is probably the first pod that we haven't.
Honestly, 28 break even. Yeah, you probably should still get Kai Pierce Paul.
I think Kai Pierce Paul's a keeper at this stage. Like, genuinely could be like 2RF6.
It'd be 600k at the end of the year.
Yeah, I'm looking
if he
at
averages
these
65, I'm not surprised.
I was just looking at these starred comments, and all these Matrix ones compliments keep popping up, and I'm like, I wonder who's been starring all of these Matrix compliments comments. Matrix needs to write a joke book. And Rowan wants to know where the gun show is. He thought it was Tank Top Tuesday.
No, all in the wash, mate. I want them all out.
All 2 of them, straight in the wash. It's what happens when you go to the gym every day. Braino Edits wants to know if bring in Eero or Galvin if you had to choose between the 2. Tricky.
Eero. Actually, no, Galvin. Galvin, sorry.
Galvin. Yeah. Galvin,
Yeah,
he's going to be there all year.
Yeah, 100%.
I mean,
Just on KPP quickly, I took out his round one score off the bench, and when he started every other week, he's averaging 61.5. So,
Yep.
I think that's just going to improve. But yeah, sorry. Now that I think about it, Galvin's got better security, and I reckon he could spit in Benji's face and punch him, and he'd still pick him. So he's just locked in.
Yeah, that's pretty accurate, actually. I mean, look, we haven't really talked too much about it, but when they're back to full strength, we've got Dale Finucane still to come back into this team, don't we? The Sharks, he's not back yet, but there's every chance maybe Talakai ends up back at centre if they want to strengthen their forwards off the bench. So there's options there.
The Sharks are also much deeper in premiership contention than Tigers. Like, we can suck. Like, Galvin can have 5 stinkers in a row and we're not dropping him just because why?
Yeah.
Whereas, like, Euro has a couple of stinkers. You know, Talakai was probably their best outside back at the start of the year. There's no guarantee on the jersey. We just have to ride the wave while we can. So, yeah, Galvin.
Rowan wants to know what tonight's drop is, Mattrix.
Well, it's actually a Young Henry's Classic Lager. They're about 1.2 standards, 4.2%, and they're actually an elite drop. I mean, you can get them at BWS for about 65 for the tins at the moment. And if Young Henrys want to reach out, big advocate for their drop.
I applied for a marketing role at 4 Pines, and they didn't get back to me, unfortunately. Otherwise, I would have made sure that the show got sponsored.
That would have been nice. That would have been very nice. Ian Johnson wants to know, should we get Jamin Jolliffe or AFB? Jamin Jolliffe's been good. A few attacking stats, of course, but
what are we doing here? Like, if you can afford AFB, just go AFB.
It's AFB.
You can't compare these two, really, can you? Yeah,
it's a bit like the Supercoach account on the weekend. Oh, who's going to have a better game? Tomato Martin, the 360k, the 360k 5'8", or the 900k fullback who's averaged 150 for a year.
Yeah. Official Supercoach account doing some good things. Let me quickly find where is it? There's some comments here that I have now missed. What else have I missed here? Have we got any others? Ryan's
I've been starting a couple.
Hey, that's me. Reach out. Yeah, thanks, Ryan. Any love for C&K or Turbo or Pappy?
Yeah, C&K's great. C&K's a great fantasy player because you can pick 7 wing fullbacks in fantasy if you wanted to. But like Supercoach, you've got 2 and you want to capitalize on the upside. So that's why I take really good options like Reece Walsh at 150 break even. But no, I just don't think C&K. He's like Dylan Edwards, isn't he? He's just like a tier below Dylan Edwards in terms of like really consistent. Probably lacks that massive upside. In saying that, Dylan Edwards is actually the most averaged player this season that's like played a decent amount of games. So yeah, what would I know?
This one's for you, Matty. Any love for Radley? Been good this year?
No.
He's playing 80, which is nice, but yeah, no.
And last one, we've got James Gowing, Flanagan, sell for Tamari Martin, or Hammer, sell for Euro. So 2 very popular options this week.
Hammer for Euro.
Yeah. Why not both? I think if I had to forego Angus Crichton, Flanagan to Tamari Martin would be the play. Like, Metcalf's a long way away.
I think I'd pick Tamari Martin over Euro, personally.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, but you're getting rid of Flano.
Flano's been okay this season. He hasn't been terrible. What is he? Like, if you can not play Flano, then amazing. I mean, his break-even's 53. Yeah, probably just fuck it. You made 100k somehow. Fucking take that and run.
You got to get rid of Flano.
At the Tigers game after they scored, I think might have been the second half, and Flano came up and tried to high five a Tigers supporter in the crowd.
What a champion! Actually, that's some big dick energy. Love that.
Yeah. He was definitely peacocking up the other end.
That's some big Sam Thaiday packing into the Bulldog scrum. Yeah. Remember that video?
That was a cracker. I always like the Willie Mason throwbacks as well, where they mic'd him up for a couple of games.
Yeah. Just he's like ripping to the Dragons but having no front rows. Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
All right.
The hardest part for us is trying to cover all of these questions. And if you want your questions answered, you can jump in the Discord. It's tough for us to keep up in lives, but we love everybody that hops on and throws up these questions every single week. We get to as many as we can in the time that we've got, but we answer all of the questions in the Discord. If you want to become an Insight Unlimited member as well, only cost you $25 for the full season, so you can jump in there. All the details are there, but thanks, guys, for jumping on tonight. remember to subscribe if you haven't as well, and hit the like button. We would appreciate that. Follow, give us a review, all that shit. But we're going to see you again for the unlimited Q&A before round 7. Plenty of green arrows. Good luck this week. We'll catch you then.
Cheerio.